And then, 1 year later, massively groundbreaking game from Hideo Kojima, Metal Gear Solid. And this is what I was talking about just now. I think we were making Medieval 2, at the time. It was going really well. And we were really happy with it. And then this game, we got our advanced preview because, we were at Sony of this game. And, we stood around. I remember the lead artist and the art director and myself. I remember standing around the PlayStation. And it might have been the demo. We were looking at the demo, I think. And we were like, my God, it looks like the greatest game ever. Wish we could make this game, It was like, you were Solid Snake. It was like Snake Plissken. You were infiltrating an Arctic base. It felt like all the greatest movies put together. The graphical styling, it was brilliant. The voice acting was incredible. The overall package, every element worked together to make it a really compelling experience. And then when the final game came out, it really kind of broke that kind of like. It was totally unique, a real auteur experience. A real auteur experience, and loads of elements kind of from film brought in, and it just really, really changed what we wanted to do in the games we were making. And and he's gone, hasn't he? Kojima's gone from strength to strength, and made like so many good games. You could have filled this list up with Sons of Liberty, with Snake Eater. Phantom Pain, Death Stranding. He's done loads and loads of brilliant games. And then look, same year, Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2. 1 had been good. I thought 2 for me was the high point. And then going somewhere totally different. Snake on mobile phone, on every Nokia. And, it really, really, with its kind of simple but compelling Blockade style. There was a game called Blockade in the arcades, or Tron Light Cycles, that kind of thing of like, avoid yourself, avoid your trail, and avoid the walls and complete your objective. It was a great, simple mechanic that worked brilliantly on the handset, didn't it? Yeah, and you can see in one of our modules is create a Snake game because it's so easy to understand and easy to implement. Yeah. And definitely has to be on the list. And I think it was one of the experiences that proved to people that mobile could be like a compelling game platform. And look where it is now. Then I won't go into it in too much detail because we cover it in big detail in Module 10. Again, 1998. Yeah, what a great year! Like 96. Yeah, you were just like spoilt for amazing games. Half-Life. And then 2 years later, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And like probably one of the best kind of sport to game games ever created. The mechanical input system was brilliant. I was never any good at being on a skateboard, but I always felt like I was a pro skater when you played this game. It made you feel like that, even though, you had very little experience of like, what doing a stunt trick on a real skateboard was. Yeah. And again, it was massively popular at the time. And then 46, The Sims. Incredible game. And, incredible game. And really, it's like a virtual doll's house with just tiny elements of torture, isn't it? Yeah. The naughty kid that tries to burn the insects with a magnifying glass, that slightly dark play tendency is kind of in a safer way explored to the full in The Sims, isn't it? You can nurture or you have to say torture the little Sims. I know loads of people that used to do terrible things to their Sims in this kind of safe environment, but yeah, it spawned a whole host of sequels. We're all right there. Fantastically good game designer, and yeah, it started its own genre, didn't it? Yeah, so you really can't not have The Sims on the list. And then he's back again, Miyamoto, Pikmin, and again, the reason it's a great game. All of them are really good, but the reason it gets onto the list for me is, up until this point, again, PC had, had been the home of the first-person shooting. And then people had managed to solve that. How do you use the controls on a controller rather than mouse and keyboard? And people had always said, oh yeah, the real-time strategy, you need a mouse and keyboard, yeah. Red alert. It's got to be, mouse and keyboard to control the units. And how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that on a joypad? That won't work. And people had tried, it hadn't worked, And of course, Miyamoto, he proved it could be done. The control scheme for Pikmin is just brilliant. That kind of selection and scaling, looping around the creatures, and then the kind of being direct controlling them. It just was so well realized. You know, when a mechanic is so well realized, it's just fun, irrespective of the objective. Yeah, like when hitting a ball against the wall in the game, it's so well done. It's as good as hitting the ball on a squash court. And irrespective of like actually playing the game, it's just fun. Just controlling the Pikmin, selecting them and whizzing them around was immense fun. Yeah. And it had, again, it had a kind of an ecological theme. It had great characterization, great depth. It's simple to get into, great depth to master. It went into a kind of multiplayer space at one point, didn't it? It's just a really, really great franchise. And the fact that, strength of him is probably the greatest game designer of all time, and he's hit massive important franchises time after time. And then 48, like GoldenEye, the game that proved you could do first person just as well on console as PC, Halo. And this was one of those games, because I was always a PlayStation guy, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, working for Sony, PlayStation through and through. That one we were always in healthy competition with Nintendo, and at one point Sega, and then Xbox started coming around, and coming up. And this was when we were like, it's pretty good actually. It's a really good game. Do we have anything quite as good in our kind of our portfolio of products, and personally for me, I thought the second one was the best, but I put this one down. And it just proved you could do first person shooters brilliantly well, and it became the flagship game for Xbox, didn't it? And then GTA 3, we talk about it in M10, and it's just a groundbreaking, amazing product. When this came into our office, we stood around the same PlayStation we used to stand around for all these big games when they come in. And I remember some people going like, oh, that doesn't look very good, or that graphics there aren't that good, or that not. And I remember my lead artist at the time, Pete Giles, saying, hey guys, I think that like all of those, what you're saying is not wrong, but all of those elements together are really creating a really compelling overall scene and vista and world, yeah? And some people went, oh yeah, no, that's good. And people started playing it. And I think we had an early copy day before release, because we were a Sony studio. And I remember, there must have been a massive group of people around having a look at it. And I remember on the Monday, he went up to everybody and said, what did you have to do at the weekend? What did you do at the weekend? What did you do at the weekend? And people just went, GTA. I think 45 people had gone and bought it. And that 45 people, there must have been the same 45 numbers of people in every game studio who ever got that game, buying it over that first weekend, and then everyone bought it, yeah? Because it's an incredibly well-realised game, and probably one of the best examples of theme going brilliantly into gameplay. And again, if we do a specific talk on GTA, and it's part of M10 if you want to find out more about the game and the franchise. And then number 50, number 50, Animal Crossing. A little bit like The Sims in a way, in a kind of real time. And it's real time, isn't it? It's the real time Super Dollhouse, yeah? Again, another great Nintendo product. Super cozy game. And that really unique real-time call to action, call to arms that again will be used in loads and loads of kind of mobile games and other games moving forward. Yeah.